All right, my name is Hiram Shelton. This is my video on female offenders. Starting with the FBI's Uniform Crime Report, we find that women, as of 2020, only make up 26.7% of all arrestees. That means that men make up the other 73.3%, and this is actually pretty shocking. I think it does show a lot about social norms. It shows a lot about kind of gender gaps, whether that's financial, in terms of kind of power and leadership uh, responsibility, and kind of just how women are kind of uh, placed in society. I think that has a lot to do with why women do not commit as many crimes. And even in terms of drug-related offenses, the numbers are closer, but they're still pretty far apart. Men make up 61% of all drug-related crimes, whereas 39% are female. Now, I think in terms of the bigger picture, it shows that men perhaps are, through social learning theory, that they are more likely to commit violent crimes, that they are rougher with each other, and are probably more exposed, not probably, they often are more exposed to violence, or just kind of roughhousing, whereas women are treated as far more delicate and seen as far more delicate, and because of that, then they feel far less of a need to react violently towards others when they feel offended or feel like they are not heard. Research on the gender gap. Now, research would suggest that it's not just social learning theory, but also the gap in pay, the gap in leadership positions, and kind of the gap in society between men and women as to why women commit less crimes. And because of these gender gaps, then women don't have the motivation, the resources, or really the or really like the desire to commit crimes, because they're not in these positions where they need power or want power, whereas men, I feel like, often are more desiring for power, and I think that's where violence does come in and crimes come in. Now, the connection between drugs, property crime, and prostitution, this kind of goes in a cycle for women. They're all kind of interlocked, because female offenders on the streets often turn to drugs, and then they commit property crimes to be able to afford drugs, and they also will commit prostitution to afford drugs. And that kind of shows you just how addictive drugs are, and that it often is a gateway to other crimes, simply for people to be able to continue paying for their drugs. And that's there are similar statistics about men, but in other ways. Women, it really is kind of especially more with prostitution, property crime, and drugs, and that's more aimed towards women. Now, the role of mental illness in cases of women who kill their children. Mental illness does play a significant role to women who commit filicide. Many of these women do suffer from severe psychiatric disorders. This includes like postpartum, psychosis, severe depression. It's called postpartum psychosis, severe depression. And this really all can distort the perception of reality, and kind of play a large role as to why a woman would commit filicide. Even if it's accidental, this still counts as filicide, and mental health is a huge contributor to that. Now, typical violent crimes committed by women. This is normally assault, domestic violence, and like I said, in some cases, even filicide. But the nature of the crime does differ a lot between men and women, because Normally, the underlying motivations for women have a lot more to do with relationship dynamics and mental health issues, whereas men, it's far more towards like power and feeling wronged and uh, wanting the higher ground, I guess. But women, it's a lot more relationship based and often emotional based and in feelings of depression and mental disorders. And then lastly, the impact or lack of support for survivors. Because women do commit so far less crimes in general, victims often do not receive help like victims of do from when the offenders are male, simply because it is so far more rare. And yeah, I guess that is all. Thank you for listening. Bye.